Sunny 95.
Welcome to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the show that brings you man-on-the-street interviews, celebrity guests, groundbreaking research, and heartwarming stories about the reasons we smile. Our show is also known as everything you've always wanted to know about dentistry, but we're too numb to ask. Hello, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kvitko, and thank you for joining me today.
The following views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those of this station, its staff, management, or parent company. To hear a replay of this show or one of the great shows that previously aired, log on to thereasonswesmile.com or iTunes, keyword Dr. Kvitko or The Reasons We Smile. Listeners should not use Dr. Kvitko's comments and advice in place of an actual dental exam.
Brighten your life with a smile that shows the professional touch of Dr. Kvitko.
Time now for The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Call 459-9769 to discuss your dental issues. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kvitko.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reasons We Smile. I'm Dr. Kvitko. Thank you so much for joining me. I think it's going to be a great show today. Today is show number 471, and the topic of today's show is, in honor of the inauguration, we're bringing you Presi-Dental Health, Historical Tooth Tales. I thought that would be kind of fun. And luckily for me, a program by the American Dental Association called Mouth Healthy put together the first part of the show for me. It was kind of neat, so I want to give props to them. And because I thought, well, I'm going to do a show about presidents, and sure enough, someone else had already kind of helped me with that. So before we get started, if you would please go to my office Facebook page and like us, that would be awesome. It's Dr. Kvitko and Associates. Also, if you would like to watch any of the previous episodes that we've done, all 470 of them, you can go to thereasonswesmile.com, and they are complete with video. So we have photographs of the topics that we are doing, and so there's some pretty neat stuff there. And all of the episodes are available, so that's cool. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Dr. Kvitko. And also, if you're a first-time listener, let me remind you that every week we do a Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. We do it at about 10, 12 minutes into the show, so in another 10 or so minutes. And so if you want to have the phone number to win pre-dialed into your phone, don't call now, but the number is 614-459-9769. So you can pre-dial that. That's 614-459-9769, and you'll be able to win free flowers from DeSantis Florist. Okay? So, all right. So, as I mentioned, it's called Presi-Dental. A historical look at dentists and teeth and that sort of thing. So let's start with the first one. They have 7 cool facts from Mouth Healthy of the ADA. So, from the myth about President George Washington's wooden dentures to the alien conspiracy theory surrounding President Dwight D. Eisenhower's emergency crown, commanders-in-chief have quite the history with their teeth. Here are fascinating facts about past presidents and their connections to dental health. For example, Abraham Lincoln was embalmed by a dentist. Did you know that? Abraham Lincoln was embalmed by a dentist. I was talking off the air with my producer earlier, and he discovered that cotton candy was invented by a dentist, William Morrison, Dr. William Morrison, DDS, in 1897, and then perfected by Joseph Lasco, DDS, in 1921. So us dentists are into a lot of things. A dentist actually invented both a local anesthetic and general anesthetic. Dr. William T.G. Morgan was the first dentist to display or show for other people general anesthesia using inhaled ether in 1846, and then Horace Wells did local anesthesia using the an extract from the opium poppy cocaine. Anyway, so most Americans know that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated while watching a play at Ford's Theater on April 14th of 1865, but did not know that he was embalmed by a dentist. Dr. Charles DeCosta Brown was originally a physician who moved to New York to study and practice dentistry. This is according to the November 1994 Bulletin of the History of Dentistry. He took an interest in embalming and was appointed an official government embalmer during the Civil War. He went on to establish an embalming office in Washington, D.C., and cared for the body of Lincoln's son Willie, who died 3 years before his father. Days after his death, Lincoln's body began a 1,600-mile journey from Washington, D.C. to Springfield, Illinois. Public viewings of the body were held in major cities. Dr. Brown traveled with the president's body, re-embalming him when necessary. Isn't that cool? And in fact, I'm pretty sure that I remember them hearing that Lincoln's body actually spent some time in the Ohio State House in the rotunda there on its trip from Washington D.C. to Springfield, Missouri. So remember that Abraham Lincoln was embalmed by a dentist. It might be important when we do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. Hint, 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 hint. All right, here's another one. Ulysses S. Grant. And boy, that's interesting because to me, that I just looked him up recently, because when I read that the Barnum and Bailey circus was ceasing operations, they started 146 years ago, and Ulysses S. Grant was president then. So he's been in the news lately. Anyway, legend has it that during the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant went into battle for 6 days with no other baggage but a toothbrush. So apparently he felt like his teeth were very important, which is kind of a good thing, setting a great example. Unfortunately, his later affinity for cigars took a toll on his mouth and his overall health, and our 18th president was diagnosed with throat cancer in 1884, and he died the following year. Today, oral cancer and cancers of the throat, tonsils, and back of the tongue, the pharyngeal area, strike approximately 40,000 people a year, and almost 9,000 of them will die from it. And we've done several shows about oral cancer, and it's a nasty, nasty disease. You do not want to get it. Okay, now, number 3, there's a story behind Teddy Roosevelt's walrus mustache. Abraham Lincoln's signature style was his stovepipe hat. Teddy Roosevelt's was a mustache. As he approached early adulthood, Teddy Roosevelt made a conscious decision to grow a walrus mustache to cover his prominent, and they say, but attractive set of teeth. I will tell you that these days when you see somebody with a big mustache that's covering their teeth, they're not attractive. They're usually hiding that they have cavities or crookedness or stain or all kinds of things like that. But more often than not, it's to hide. And the person won't even admit it, but I'll tell you what, that's what I find. And when I'm trying to work on these teeth, I have to pull the mustache hairs out of my way so I can see. It's not that they're blocking my ability to get at the tooth, but I can't see. And if you think about it, eyelashes are designed to protect our eyes from the sun, and they're not even as full as a mustache, so it does make sense that it's hard for me to see around all of these mustache hairs. Anyway, so back to Teddy Roosevelt. So there was an article in the fall of 2007 in the Journal of the History of Dentistry. Okay, that's where that came from. So still that didn't stop people from referring to his squirrel teeth. So remember, it was a walrus mustache, but they thought he had squirrel teeth, and that was seen in a 1903 newspaper article. The article reads, when President Roosevelt was in Sharon Springs, Missouri, a countryman stepped up and said to a member of the presidential party, "Where is the president?" And so Mr. Roosevelt actually heard that, and he thought maybe the guy wanted to say something good to him, so he said, "Do you wish to see him particularly?" And the guy said, "I've never seen but one president in my life, and of course I would like to see him in general principles, but what I wants to see, this one's for most particular, is to see if he's got them squirrel teeth," the paper said. You want to see if he had squirrel teeth. And then, so at that point, President Roosevelt smiled, and that's how the guy knew he was actually already talking to the president. I says, "You're that feller." So anyway, I thought that was kind of fun. Now, we're going to talk a lot about George Washington, because famously we've heard about the fact that he had wooden teeth and that sort of thing. And by the way, he didn't have wooden teeth. That was a myth, but we'll come back to him later in the show. But here's our fourth kind of a strange but true tale. You may remember their smiles and expressions from portraits and photographs, but do you know the stories behind them? So George Washington never wore wooden dentures. Tooth decay and tooth loss plagued him throughout his adult life. The Journal of the American Revolution states the father of our country had his front tooth pulled at 24 and had only one left at inauguration. His first tooth pulled at age 24, and by the time he was inaugurated, he only had one working tooth. It's the Mount Vernon, Washington's estate says his troublesome teeth made the president self-conscious and reluctant to speak in public. Boy, that would not work in today's times, would it? And so while it's true he wore dentures, they were never wooden. He had many pairs, made with many different materials, including hippopotamus ivory, bone, gold wire, copper screws, lead, and even human teeth. His wife Martha also had a partial denture. And let's see here. So basically, Martha wanted to make sure that she urged her children and grandchildren to tend to their teeth because of her husband's travails and, of course, her own with having to wear a partial. So even back then, before great dental care was even available, people were starting to figure out that you need to take care of your teeth or you're going to lose them. So they were kind of doing our bidding for us back then. Now we have, okay, Rover, how are we doing? Okay, we're doing okay on time. Yep, we got another minute or so. So number 5 of these interesting stories is Grover Cleveland had top secret oral cancer surgery on a yacht. Near the beginning of his second term in 1893, Grover Cleveland faced 2 major issues. Nationally, the country was entering a depression. Personally, a bump in his mouth had formed, grown, and was diagnosed as cancer. To prevent nationwide panic, a clandestine plan was hatched. On June 30th, President Grover Cleveland boarded a yacht in New York Harbor with 6 doctors. In a 90-minute surgery the next day, surgeons removed the cancerous tumor, 5 teeth, and part of his upper left jaw. Cleveland sat in a chair attached to the mast of the ship. His only anesthesia was laughing gas and ether. 4 days later, he got off the yacht in Cape Cod and finished recovering at his summer home, and he was later fitted with a rubber prosthesis that helped him speak normally again. So when it's said that they took out 5 teeth and part of his upper left jaw, that left a gaping hole, and this still happens today. And so we have dental prosthodontists, or prosthetists. They make the artificial appliances, and what it does is it's like an obturator. It'll fill in, it kind of plugs the hole where the oral cavity now connects with the nasal passageway, allowing air to escape and making it hard to make sounds. And so that allows people to speak normally. And they have a really great program for that at the James Cancer Research Center. All right, so that was I did not know that. And here we've talked about 2 presidents in about 10 minutes who have had oral cancer. So if you are still smoking and doing the snuff, you may want to stop. So we're not writing a story or reading a story about you someday. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we are going to do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day here soon. And remember, you're going to have a chance to win free flowers from DeSantis Florist. And I'm going to give you the number. Don't call yet because we still have a disclaimer to do. Not even going to give you the question yet. Just giving you the number so you can plug it into your phone, 614-459-9769. Get that all typed in. And so, but before we do the question, we'd like you to listen to this.
This station will not be held liable for any contesting during The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Participation in the contest allows Dr. Kvitko to record and broadcast your name and call. 1 winner per household. Prizes are non-transferable, cannot be substituted, and are subject to taxes and fees. This station cannot be responsible for the inability to enter the contest, whether due to equipment malfunction or telephone difficulties. All decisions of Dr. Kvitko concerning this contest or eligibility are final.
And now it's time for Dr. Kvitko's question of the day.
All right, and I'm going to remind you, the winner's going to receive free flowers from DeSantis Florist. The number is going to be 614-459-9769. And the question, true or false, President Abraham Lincoln was embalmed by a dentist. Is that true or is that false? All right, so go ahead, call now, 614-459-9769. That's 614-459-9769, and go ahead and call.
Hi, I'm Keith Carlos, winner of America's Next Top Model and star of Chocolate City 2. Look for my smile on the big screen this summer, courtesy of Dr. Kvitko. Stay tuned to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. Did you know that you no longer need to visit several different dental professionals to get more complete dental care? We handle everything from cleanings and orthodontics to restoration, implants, and smile makeovers, all in my office. And now we have 2 locations. Get the most advanced technology and procedures available today. It's more complete dentistry.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
Dr. Kvitko! Let's go!
Hi, I'm Johanna, and I've been a dental patient at Dr. Kvitko and Associates for over 10 years. I would really recommend Dr. Kvitko for your family's dental care. They're friendly. They're always there to help me. I feel like family when I walk in the door. It's clean. It's comfortable. Even if I have to bring my kids, they have a great playroom for them. I know when I'm with Dr. Kvitko, they are taking that extra time to make sure that I'm going to be the healthiest I can be. They've been great. I love them.
Call Dr. Kvitko and Associates today, 614-262-9588.
Hi, this is Richard Simmons. Dr. Kvitko's here, and he's going to help you with all of your problems. Are your teeth yellow? He can fix that. Are you missing a tooth? He can put a new one in. How is that?
That's very good. Thank you, Richard. All right, we're back. We're doing Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. We have 4 callers on the line. We have Becky, Steve, Jeff, and Erica. And during the break, I've flipped some dice, and the number that was closest to that came up is Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for calling in. Do you have the answer to Dr. Kvitko's question of the day, which is true or false? President Abraham Lincoln was embalmed by a dentist. True or false?
It's true.
It is true. Did you know that? It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Pretty interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
It really is.
We dentists, you just can't hold us down. Anyway, hey Jeff, what do you do for a living?
Insurance sales. I'm sorry.
An insurance salesman. Okay. You like home, life, health, that sort of thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you're going to be pretty busy when they figure out what to do with Obamacare and replace it with something else care, huh?
Really? Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, you have a great day. Stay on the line because we need to get the information where to send the flowers. And Becky, Steve, and Erica, please try again next week. Okay. So let's go back to this thing that again it was put together by the ADA. ADA's a little program they call Mouth Healthy, not little, but a program they call Mouth Healthy. And you want the sheet here? Here's the sheet. Oh, he's got it. Okay. And it's called Presi-Dental Health, 7 Historical Tales. And we are up to, the next one would be President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Okay, so on February 20th, 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower was eating a chicken wing in Palm Springs, California when the cap of one of his front teeth popped off. He spent a Saturday night at an emergency dental appointment, and the unexpected trip led to many false reports, including an Associated Press report that he had died of a heart attack. It also birthed a UFO conspiracy theory. Some people believe the dental visit was a cover-up for a secret meeting with aliens at Edwards Air Force Base. Here's a quote. In the most recent version of the story, alleged in several books dating back to the late 1980s, 2 aliens offered to share their knowledge with Earthlings if Ike would eliminate America's nuclear weapons, and that's according to the Bulletin of Dental Education in July of 2004. So thanks to Eisenhower's long military service and time as president, his dental records are thorough and document many troubles with that particular crown. Still, the theory lives on with believers because the dentist who treated Eisenhower passed away without leaving a record of the visit. All right, so there you go. We have to keep good records as dentists, and I think we're all guilty sometimes of not writing everything that we did down, and so now we have this conspiracy theory. The next one is that the president doesn't go far to visit the dentist. In fact, the dentist comes to him. The White House has had a dental office since the Hoover administration. I did not know that. President Barack Obama told Jimmy Kimmel he first learned about it when he thought he had a loose cap. He said, got the whole chair, everything is all there set up in the basement. And there's a picture, if you're going to watch the video someday of this show, there'll be a picture of what the room with the dental chair looked like in 1948 when Harry S. Truman was president. So it was when Harry S. Truman was president. Okay, well that's I think those are interesting. I did not know about that. So let's talk about the smile of our current president, because there's some question about whether Donald Trump has had veneers, whether he has crowns, whether he whitened his teeth, and are they natural? And I've looked at a close-up picture of him, and of course as a dentist I do look at teeth, I look at people's smile. And it looks to me like for sure he has some crowns. In fact, I can tell from this one photo I'm staring at, which again will be on the video, his upper left molar is a crown for sure. How do I know that? It's an old-style crown where it has metal underneath, and up by the gum line, you can kind of see an opaque area, and you can see through, and you can kind of actually see a little metal at the top. And the same thing for his right rear. But I know for a fact, no, I don't know for a fact, but yes, I do. I'm a dentist. I can tell this stuff. I didn't call him up and ask him. But I know that he has had porcelain crowns and veneers in various places in his mouth, for certain, the lower front teeth. You know, when you talk, you see your lower teeth. So watch him speak. You're going to see his lower front 6 to 8 teeth are all nice and white, and then the ones in the back aren't, which tells me he has porcelain veneers and or crowns or bridges down there. And on the upper, there's a really good chance that some of his upper teeth are natural, but there's also just as good of a chance that they're all porcelain veneers, because they really do look good. And you know what? It says something. It says that he understands the value of looking good and how having great teeth can do that. And, you know, look at all of his kids, his wife, everybody in that family has awesome teeth, and they understand how important it is. So, yes, he does have a combination of veneers and crowns, and I don't know if he whitened his teeth or not. I'm thinking not, since the lower back teeth are kind of dark, but I don't really know. And maybe we'll have him on the show someday. Okay, at least I might try. Be worth a try, right? So now I said we're going to talk a little bit about George Washington's teeth, and I see that I can kind of just get started on it. I have probably more than I'm going to be able to cover. So we mentioned that he was afflicted with dental troubles of all of his adult life, and how he had his first tooth extracted when he was 20. So he recorded in his diary that he paid 5 shillings to Dr. Watson, who removed one of his teeth. Letters and diary entries later in his life make regular references to aching teeth, lost teeth, inflamed gums, ill-fitting dentures, and a host of other dental miseries. Payments to dentists and purchases of toothbrushes, teeth scrapers, dental files, toothache medicine, and cleaning solutions are also regularly present in Washington's communication throughout his life. And we mentioned that his dentures were not made of wood, so we won't go over that again. So during the Revolutionary War, he used a French dentist who had been providing dental services to high-ranking British officers. In 1781, a preeminent dentist by the name of Dr. Jean-Pierre Lemur escaped from British-occupied New York City and passed through the nearby American lines. He had been providing dental services to Sir Henry Clinton, commander of the British forces in the region, and a host of other senior British officers. The French-born Meyer, disgusted by derogatory comments made by British officers against the Franco-American alliance, decided he had had enough and packed up his dental tools and headed off to find the Americans. Once it was determined that Lemur was sincere in his desire to serve the American cause, Washington eagerly sought out his services. The two eventually grew quite close, and Lemur was a frequent visitor to Mount Vernon in the years just after the close of the Revolutionary War. Here's an interesting one, or maybe we'll save that for after the next break. Looking at the clock, I think it's time for that. All right, so you're listening to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, episode 471, and we'll be right back.
This is Clark Kellogg. Stay tuned for more of Dr. Kvitko.
Estás escuchando con Dr. Kvitko aquí en su estación favorita.
Hi, I'm Dominique Reichert. Like what you hear? Why not use the show to promote your product or service by becoming a sponsor? Call 614-262-9588 to learn how. That's 614-262-9588. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of The Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. I've been honored to help several famous people get a perfect smile, like Keith Carlos and Dominique Reigard from America's Next Top Model, and Ted the Golden Voice Williams from right here in Columbus. Isn't it time you had a celebrity smile? It costs less than you might think, and most of the time, it can be done in one visit. A new smile can make a world of difference.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
I'm Grandpa, and I go to Dr. Kvitko, and I still have all my teeth. Real ones. Where's my glasses?
All right, we're back. We're doing a show called, in honor of the inauguration, I'm bringing you Presi-Dental Health Historical Tooth Tales. All right, so we're talking about presidential smiles and things that the presidents have dealt with dental-wise over time, and we're covering George Washington right now. And so here's one that I don't know if people realize this. I know I didn't. Washington's dental troubles helped to mislead the British Army in 1781. Washington, who always treated his dental troubles as a state secret, was mortified to learn that a mail packet that included a personal letter requesting dental cleaning tools had been intercepted by the British. His letter to his dentist pointed out that he had little prospect of being in Philadelphia soon, and that the tooth scrapers should be sent to him outside New York by mail. When Sir Henry Clinton, commander of the British forces in North America, saw this personal letter, he was convinced that the other official military correspondence within the same intercepted package were genuine. Even worse for Clinton and the British, the contents of the packet and Washington's claim that he would not be in Philadelphia anytime soon convinced the British High Command in New York that the American and French forces encamped around New York City would not be marching south to threaten Lord Cornwallis, isolated near Yorktown. So what Clinton did not know was that Washington and Rochambeau had just planned out their movement south to trap Cornwallis at Yorktown. Clinton's failure to more rapidly reinforce or rescue Cornwallis led to the complete British defeat at Yorktown on October 19th, 1781. And it was all found in a letter intercepted about his dental tools. Here's another one. Washington retained several of his pulled teeth for use in his dentures. Aware of his failing dental health, George Washington retained several of his pulled teeth within a locked desk drawer at Mount Vernon. In a Christmas Day 1782 letter, he wrote to Lund Washington, his distant cousin and the temporary manager of Mount Vernon, requesting that the teeth be wrapped up and sent to him in Newburgh, New York. He hoped that those original teeth could be used within new dentures that were being fitted for his use. That's pretty cool, kind of funny. And you know what, that's actually not that crazy when you think about it, because I just did this the other day. A gentleman who doesn't have a lot of financial resources, his teeth have just been slowly or more actually faster than I want, deteriorating because he really can't afford much. So we had to take out this tooth that we'd been nursing along, and the cost of having a removable partial, a flipper we call it for short, was $400 to $600 in that range, and he said he couldn't afford that, so he'd be kind of going without a tooth. And so what I did was I extracted his tooth, and I cut off the root, and I carved a little hole in it from right to left, and I put wire through it, and I actually attached it to the teeth on either side with some ortho wire. So now he has his own tooth kind of replaced there. It doesn't go into the gum or bone anymore. It just looks fine when he talks. So that's not all that far-fetched. Okay, let's see. Checking time. Gotta hurry. We have 2 minutes. So I'm just going to read the others real quick. He bought human teeth from African Americans. So not only did he save some of his own teeth, but he bought some from African Americans. By the time of his presidential inauguration in 1789, I think I said that, he had only one working tooth. His dental troubles, in fact, impacted the shape of his face. I understand that in some of those pictures that we're used to, seeing that they had his mouth stuffed with cotton to fill out his cheeks. And in fact, one of the most famous ones, if you look at it now, you can see it almost looks like he has snuff or something there, but he didn't. He had cotton. And then Martha Washington also wore partials. We talked about that. And how his dental troubles made him less willing to speak and less able to speak. So, I mean, this all goes to how important it is to have great dental care. And I think our current president and our presidents recently, like Obama and Clinton and Kennedy, they all understood that. Hey, real quick, a little cute story, not cute, but what does whipped cream and an explosion at a nitrous oxide plant have in common? Apparently there was an explosion back in August of 2016 at a plant that makes medical gases, and it's a Florida factory, Florida factory. And turns out there is, although we were promised there wouldn't be a shortage of nitrous oxide gas, there is now. So the FDA just put out a warning that there is a shortage of nitrous oxide. For those of you that use nitrous for your appointments, you might want to call soon while we still have it. And the whipped cream, they weren't able to make those whipped cream canisters that would spray out because they weren't high on the list of actually getting the gases now that they're able to make them again. Okay, looks like we are out of time. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Dr. Kvitko and visit my office Facebook page and like us. It's Dr. Kvitko and Associates. Remember that all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. Be sure to tune in next week and every week right here on your favorite station. Goodbye.
This is Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the hit show on VH1, urging you to tune in next week with my dentist, Dr. Kvitko.
If you're interested in learning more about this and other dental health topics, go to thereasonswesmile.com to access full episodes of Dr. Kvitko's show.
If you'd like Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist, to speak at your next event, please call 614-262-9588. That's 614-262-9588, or send an email to speaking@thereasons